Good evening, what's happening, folks? Welcome back to Celtic Fans TV. It's time for a live team news reaction. The team news is in for tonight's game against Ross County. There's two changes from the team that faced Aberdeen. Out go Ayeti and Sorrow, and in come Scott Brown and Tom Rogic. So the team in full is Scott Bain in goals. Back four, John Joe Kenny, Stephen Welsh, Christopher Ayer and Greg Taylor in midfield. It looks like Brown, Turnbull, McGregor and Vogic. And up top, Ryan Christie looks as if he's joining Odsonne Edouard, like we seen in the game against St Johnstone last week. You can ask your questions in the live chat box below. First of all, the thing that jumps out to me is Christie's going back up to join Edouard. It looks like, obviously, Ayeti has been poor in his last couple of outings. We wondered if Klimala or Griffiths might get the nod to start tonight, but it looks like we've gone back to that setup that we had against St Johnstone, where Christie is going to play as a striker. What do you make of that? Do you think, obviously, it looked like in the first half against St Johnstone that he really struggled, but he came into the game, Ryan Christie, and then he played a part in both goals up at McDermott Park. They were both from wide positions, though. So it's maybe not his best position. Other than that, Scott Brown comes back in. Sorrow drops to the bench. Again, I kind of thought Sorrow would keep his place, but Brown comes back in, captains the team. The other implication of obviously Christie going up front and Vogic coming into the team is that Vogic will play in the 10 and Turnbull will drop back. So get your questions in, get your thoughts on that. Jamie McGowan says Christie hasn't played well as a striker. As I say, I don't think it's his best position, and the impact that he had against St Johnstone was from wide, and I think we made a couple of changes at half time against St Johnstone because we weren't really clicking in that first half. Other than that, on the bench for Celtic tonight, it's Connor Hazard, Lee Griffiths, Albin Ayeti, Patrick Klimala, Sorrow, El Yunusi, Henderson, Laxalt and Ralston. Two things that jump out to me for the bench is that Barkas isn't on there. I don't know if there's anything wrong with him or if he just hasn't travelled. Mikey Johnston isn't there either. Ewan Henderson is back on the bench though. Ewan Henderson's one of those youth players who's come into the team and done well at times, but he just doesn't really seem to get any game time. So I suppose it's good that he's back on the bench. Gary Oliver's asking, how scunnered are you every time a Celtic team is announced? Well, the manager seems to think that this season hasn't been an unmitigated disaster, as everybody has made out. Quite astounding comments, because if there's one phrase that sums up this season, it is that it's been an unmitigated disaster from start to finish, on the park, off the park, in terms of recruitment, the trip to Dubai. I mean, the list is the length of your arm of things that have gone wrong this season. So I find it astounding that the manager has been brazen enough to say that it hasn't been an unmitigated disaster, as if everybody's just making up. Piers McLaughlin, we need Forrest back ASAP. I think we've really lacked width at times this season. We see again tonight we're going to play in the diamond and Christie's going to go up top, but the centre of the pitch can get really crowded when Christie, Vogic and Turnbull are all on there. We know that Turnbull does his best work in that 10 position. Vogic is obviously naturally a 10. That's Christie's best position as well. So I think they can all kind of congest the centre of the pitch at times. And you think about the size of the pitch up at Ross County, it is really small. So we've got to guard against that tonight. Ross County are obviously going to be defending for their lives at times, and we don't want the centre of the pitch to get too crowded. We'd like some width in the game. And I agree with Piers is saying there. I think we have missed James Forrest. He's been out for so long. He's missed basically all of this season. He played the first few games before he was out. And thinking about Julien's injury this week, that's obviously a big blow for us. But if you remember, James Forrest had a niggling injury and he kept playing with it for 3 or 4 weeks. And then he's ended up out for a really long period of time. And then you have Julien, who collides with the post. And I think we were told first off that he was going to be out for 2 or 3 months. And then 2 months goes by and it turns out he's out for 9 months. I don't know what happened there. I don't know how his injury could have worsened in the last 2 months when he's been obviously getting treatment for it and resting. I mean, how it could have went for a 2-month injury to a 9-month injury in that period of time is a bit baffling. But there you go. It's just another thing to add to the list this season. Kean Sanderson saying 3 strikers on the bench. That is the other shock about Christie playing up front. It's not for lack of options. we've got 3 strikers there on the bench, and Ayeti, Klimala, and Lee Griffiths. That's what I said in the starting 11 prediction. I thought Ayeti might get the nod again. He started the last time up at Ross County. He got a goal. We won 5-0, but the managers went back to that system that we played against St Johnstone, and we've got 3 strikers there on the bench. So it is baffling. I wonder how it will play out tonight. Obviously, Ross County are bottom of the table. They're struggling big time. So you would expect us, if we play anywhere near the level that we're capable of, we should be able to win this game comfortably. But as I say, we don't want to fall into that trap that we've seen so often this season, where we don't play at high enough tempo, the middle of the pitch gets congested, and then the game goes on at 0-0 or maybe 1-0, and we have a slender lead for long, and then it just kind of peters out. We don't want that sort of situation to arise tonight. That's it for the live team news reaction. Join us after the game. Kenny and Martin will be joining me straight after full time for the live full time reaction. So don't miss that one. Enjoy the game wherever you're watching it. It's a strange old kickoff time, 7:30 on a Sunday night. But there you go. Enjoy the game, and we'll see you at full time. Cheers.